we want to just go ahead and talk a couple of things about why we put lift pumps on these trucks and why we feel they're so important. A big thing is filtration, getting a good filtration with it. The AirDog system is going to be able to remove the moisture, remove the oxygen out of the fuel to get the best fuel going up to the system. It also helps take the load off the injection pump. The CP3 and CP4 both have a vacuum system on it, so it's actually sucking the fuel up from the factory. So now you're going to take that vacuum system and put a small amount of pressure on it. So that's going to help take the load off of the injection pump, to give you better longevity, more miles and time out of it. Getting better clean fuel to the fuel injectors like I mentioned. Also is going to help with economy, help reduce some of the emissions coming out your exhaust, a little bit better throttle response also. So there's a lot of good things about these lift pumps. The LB7 is a very important one. We really want to do a lift pump on every LB7 because of the way that those injectors fail, and we found the lift pumps, especially AirDog, is going to help with that system on it. So that's why we like to put these guys on. And I also want to follow up on a couple of common questions we get through our sales team. So I had them put together a small list of common questions that we get from our customers of why, what to do here, what to do there. So the biggest one's going to be, what's the difference between the 100 and the 165? Really, it's the amount of gallons per hour. So 100 gallons per hour or 165 gallons per hour of what it's going to be flowing. Really going to be based on volume. On an LB7, we really only recommend the 100 on it. The LB7s are more sensitive to pressure and volume on that low pressure side, which was a vacuum. So we want to keep the pressure down, keep the volume down, make that fuel pressure regulator on the injection pump nice and happy. LLY to current, or LLY to say 2016, we're looking good on the 165 because we really don't see issues with that for that higher volume on the 165. So really volume, how much it flows per hour. Next thing is keeping the stock fuel filter. We highly recommend keeping the stock fuel filter in place for a few reasons. One, more filtration the better. Keeping a good fuel filter up in place on there. And also, if there's ever an issue within the lift pump itself and you need to prime the system, if you remove the filter and the filter housing, you don't have a way to prime that fuel system to start the truck up. Even though it's a pass-through system, you're still going to want to have the primer. So keep that fuel filter in place. We recommend a Raycor fuel filter on those, and then keeping the fuel filter housing in place. That way you have the primer. And then next one's going to be basically filter servicing. AirDog filters, factory fuel filter, all models, we recommend 15,000 mile service intervals. So we do a fuel filter again when we do the AirDog install. So this one got a fuel filter, obviously got the new AirDog filters, and now in 15,000 miles I'll go ahead and replace them again, and that's what we recommend to all our customers. So 15,000 mile intervals is what we recommend on the servicing of the filters. Next one's going to be pressure setting. Pressure setting, we want to keep these things roughly, for the most part, on an LB7, we're going to go 5 to 7 PSI on it. On a LLY to an LML, we're going to go ahead and put it in whatever the setup out of the box. So we'll put it in, we check it. Sometimes they come up a little bit high. If we feel they're a little bit high, we try and get that pressure down, say on a LLY to LMM, anywhere from say 7 to 10 PSI on it. So we want to make sure we don't have any leaks, keep the fuel pressure regulator on the injection pump nice and happy, and know that if you ever need to, you can make the adjustment to come down a little bit lower. On an LB7, we're going to go ahead and cut a coil spring down on the regulator, down just a small amount to be able to help bring that pressure down. So those are the most common questions we get from customers. If you're watching the video or you're thinking about doing one and you have a question, give our sales or service team a call and we can always help you out a little bit further from there. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got to learn some stuff on the installs. Once again, thanks for choosing DMAX Store. We'll see you next time.